Welcome to your safe space, the podcast your partner, friends, parents, whoever thinks it's dirty. Don't have time to read books? Want to understand all the jokes in the TikToks? We got you, fam. We're the Spice Traders, and we deal in spicy books. I'm Katie, and I need it to make sense.
I'm Liz, and I'm hypercritical.
Before we get to today's episode, we want to encourage you to check out our Patreon, where we publish extra episodes every other week, as well as ad-free versions of our regular feed episodes. Also, any series we read past the first book, all that coverage is Patreon only, so think series like ACOTAR, Fourth Wing, Guild. Anyway, we really appreciate the support and encouragement to continue doing something we love and sharing it with you.
Thanks in advance for checking that out. As always, we start this episode with 3 things. First is a generic trigger warning. You can find specific triggers for this book in our show notes, so please check those out. We also use foul language and talk a lot about sex. If you have sensitivity to either of those things, our podcast probably isn't for you.
Second, our episodes talk about books, the whole book, nothing but the book, so help me goddess. If you don't want something spoiled, don't listen to this episode.
And finally, we acknowledge that a good book can hit you at the wrong time. Our views discussed in our episodes are our opinion, and we don't want to diminish the work or the talents of the authors in our community. That said, we have some notes. Katie, what are we talking about today?
Today, we are talking about part 2 of The Ritual by Shantel Tessier. And so part 2 will be covering chapters 23 through 47. And then part 3 will drop in 2 weeks, and that will conclude our coverage, and then we'll do our ratings after that. So if you haven't read the book, or if you haven't listened to part 1, do one of those things, because we're just jumping right where we left off.
There's a lot that happens. Like,
for the amount of sex that they have, there's a lot.
That's the thing. Because when I was about halfway done and I texted you and said, hey, we could do this in 2 parts, I think, because mostly the story is they talk about this and then they have sex. And then they go over here and they have sex. And then they have this one fight and then they have sex while they're fighting. And then they make up and then they have sex. And like, that's the book. But also there's a lot of other shit going on. Surprisingly. Yeah. I don't know how she fits it all in.
Well, okay, but we just got out of our debrief where we were talking about how the other stuff that's happening is actually just a bunch of interpersonal drama and like not high stakes plot, you know?
It's certainly not a high stakes plot. We're not like murdering politicians, which is what it seemed like the first part was.
We're just murdering our frenemies at school.
Someone who pissed me off because they looked at my girlfriend the wrong way.
Honestly.
Look what's happening here. And also, okay, we're going to get to it when we get to it, but Matt's a stalker, obviously. I know that the lords are powerful and they deal with things in house, but you could also just, I don't know, call the police to get a restraining order. Like, none of you are related to the police. Not one of you could just like do this in a legal way. No? Okay. All right.
Or I mean, I guess this is kind of what ends up happening, but like, Riot is supposed to be like of a higher, like his family is higher rank or whatever than Matt's family. Fine. Just like call your dad, right? Like get some asshole to deal with it.
It's just like you are in a whole band of murder hobos and not a one is helping you. You're alone in this. Probably because no one else gives a shit because it's a dumb little fight.
It honestly, yeah. So, okay, that was a lot of preface to say we are jumping right back into the book. And so at the end of part 1, we had talked about Blake and Riot kind of acting out the consensual non-consent fantasy that Blake had. And they had finished it. But then afterward, Blake feels guilty and she feels shame starting to creep in. But Riot does the aftercare thing and says, you know, look, this is just a fantasy and fantasies don't hurt anybody. And then he tells her, you know, we're at this house in the middle of the woods and you're safe. No one's here. It is a fantasy. You can be who you are.
We're both consenting adults.
Correct. And then he checks in about whether there was anything about the scene that he did that she didn't like or something that she would want to do again. And Blake just ends up telling him, quote, I just don't want the choice, end quote. And I really liked this because I think we talked about it in part 1, but Riot could very easily just be like kind of a jerk and taking what he wants. But this book does a really good job of illustrating the care and like investment that he has in Blake as a person through scenes like this.
Yeah, which is such an interesting dynamic because at the start of this book, or everything I'd kind of heard about this book, I didn't expect that.
I didn't either. And I would have been way more uncomfortable had we not gotten that.
Exactly. But this book does such a good job of driving home, like, nope, they're both super into it. Like, all of the scenes that would otherwise maybe make me uncomfortable, it's like, nope, they're both so into it that it's just really great.
Yeah, totally. I could give it to the Janesy.
Yes.
So Blake and Riot spend the rest of the weekend enjoying each other at this house, but Sunday morning, Riot gets a text from Prickett telling him to turn on the TV. On the news, there's a manhunt out for somebody who has killed a 6-year-old boy at a family's house called the Mallorys. Mallory is the name of a lord who has an influential judge position in Pennsylvania. And Riot knows instantly that the reason this happened was because there was a hit out on the judge, but when he wasn't home, the killers went for the little boy instead.
Which, okay, we don't have to take it out on the children.
No, I mean, come on, he's just a kid.
He's a 6-year-old, and what, you didn't even prove anything. Like, you didn't fix the hit, and you don't think whatever Mallory did to piss you off, he's just gonna stop now? Like, okay, you guys are all stupid.
Totally. So the stress of the situation gets to Riot, especially because every lord is being summoned to the House of Lords for a meeting. So Riot tells Blake to get ready to go, and she asks questions, and he doesn't give her any answers, and says that it's because of his oath, right? But even if it wasn't because of his oath, it's none of her business, so he wouldn't tell her anyways. And so Blake's like, ugh, great. She tells him, quote, right, sometimes I need a reminder that the only reason you're fucking me is to piss Matt off.
Sometimes these two have really healthy communication, like we just talked about, and other times I just want to like slam their heads against each other and be like, we could have a little bit more conversation. Just like, especially later when she fucking runs away. I know we're not there yet, but like, ask a follow-up question. Just maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, well, okay, but Riot ask a follow-up question, right?
That's
because
what,
Riot's the one not giving answers.
Exactly. And that's what I mean. Like, she's telling you what she needs. I'm sure you could meet her halfway. I know you can't say a lot, but you could say more.
Or even if that's how you feel, deliver it better.
Yeah. Not just like it's none of your fucking business. Shut up, Blake. Like, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
It's really helpful. Thank you.
So back at the House of Lords, they briefly see Matt, but they don't interact. Blake sees Sarah, and Sarah says that she's glad that Blake is alive because she's been calling and texting her all weekend with no answer. And Blake's like, oh, that's weird. It must be like that we had poor reception at the house. Doesn't think much of it beyond that. Sarah and Blake are left in Riot's room while the menses go down to the basement for whatever the super important Lord's brief is. And I do still have this lingering, like, oh yeah, the boys club just doing their little like knitting circle thing, like feeling about whenever these things happen.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. I think a lot of that, I mean, it's the nature of the book, right? But they always talk about going to the basement. They go to so many basements in so many buildings, and they don't seem nice. They seem like cold and creepy. And if you're going to have a boys club, I don't know, give me some like leather armchairs and like smoking and like make it a boys club. Lean into that. I know you're all assassins, but come on. A treehouse would be great. Give me a true clubhouse.
Truly. So in the basement, all of these Lord initiates, I guess, are asked to volunteer to mete out retribution on whoever killed Mallory's son. Matt, of all people, pipes up and volunteers both himself and Riot to do this. And Riot is in a tough spot because he can't say no, right? Like, I don't want to work with this asshole. And so he has to accept the job.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. Okay, and so this is where the stakes started to like kind of fall apart for me, because I just have some questions about how the Lords work, because the Lords, like these dudes are in college. So is it that the Lords use the college initiates as their hitmen? That feels like a risk. They don't have a club meeting of the Lords that are out of college and have a fully formed frontal cortex, for example. That's question number one. Question number two is like, who ordered this hit? We never find out. Like, I feel like this could have launched us into this kind of broader, higher stakes. Like, there's some other shadow organization that's opposing the Lord's thing or infighting within the Lord's. And it's just, we don't get an answer to that.
I had that question too. I had both of those questions. Like, why are we using children? Okay, fine. They're all college. But this is where all of the external plots lose the stakes, because we don't get any information. Like, everything is just really easy from here on out. So there's no higher arching plot. But I think that would have been way more interesting. And you could have tied in the inner like demographic with Riot and Matt and their controversy. My brain is not braining. Their conflict.
Their beef.
Their beef. But make Matt like actually affiliated with some other shadow society. And so he's like infiltrating, and all of this is like interwoven. Like, you could have done that and made it on a higher level instead of Matt just being a dick. And I haven't finished the book. I think he's just a dick.
Yeah. I mean, he is just a dick. Spoilers. But I really like that idea that you said about like having Matt be more of a turncoat and like giving a better reason for Riot to be targeted. Like, is, you know, we kind of get this offhand comment that like, oh, he's going to be like the most powerful judge in New York. Like, why is that? Like, does it have to do with his family? And maybe that's why like Matt as a turncoat is targeting him, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Also, this is undergrad, right? So these are like 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, yes. I guess. If he's going to be the most powerful judge in New York, shouldn't he be going into law school? Like, I get that the lawyers are powerful, but like, you still need to do the thing. And can you picture Riot in law school? Because I can't.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. So there's just a lot of like that happening. And it felt disappointing when the stakes started to fall apart a little bit.
Yeah.
And I know you haven't finished the book yet, but that feeling culminates in the epilogue. But we'll talk about it when we get there.
Okay. I remember you mentioning it and just being like, I didn't need this.
Yeah. So anyway.
Cool.
Back to where we're at in the story. So before Riot goes on this mission, he has to make sure that he gets Blake sorted out, because he doesn't quite know how long he's going to be gone for. He's got to get the mission done. That could take a day. It could take a month. So, but I don't know what he's thinking about this, because he takes her back to his apartment and essentially drugs her to sleep without her knowledge. But like, you can't keep her drugged for weeks, dude. Like, what was the plan here?
I know. It seems like he only drugged her that way he could leave without her asking any questions. But like, you couldn't leave a girl a note of BRB on a mission, could be a while, don't panic. Like,
right.
What was I don't know what the plan was either. Not even like a stay here versus stay at home. Like, I'm just going to put you to sleep so I don't have to listen to your inane questions. Like, Riot.
So we see Riot go on his mission, and he goes to this location where he and Matt are getting arrested? ? They get questioned pretty brutally by the police and FBI. But then Greg Mallory is there too. And then when they're alone with Mallory, like, it's clear that he's like in on them being the Lord's people going in to like kill the dude that actually killed his kid or ordered the hit or something.
Unclear.
But anyway, the person that Riot and Matt need to kill is in prison. So to prison, they too must go.
Which, in like, okay, it's fine. Whatever. You can't tell me that there's no other connection you have in this prison that could do this for you. You have to send children into prison. That's what we're doing here? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's my question. Like, you really don't have anybody that's more qualified to do this work?
Even like a guard who could just like kill him. Also, if the guy who ordered the hit is already in prison, has he not been punished? I mean, obviously the prison system is flawed, but I just feel like this didn't need to be so complicated.
Yeah. When we talk about editing at the end, this is one of those where I'm like, this could have just not existed and I would have been fine.
Yeah, I have quite a few notes like that when we talk about it next week.
Yeah. So then we get a flashback from Blakely about something that happened when she was out at Riot's mansion in the woods. She and Riot played out the fantasy of her going for a run and then being raped in the woods. When she wakes up and goes into the rest of her apartment, she finds Gunnar and Sarah there, and they tell her that Riot is on a mission and not sure when he'll be back, which, to your point, he couldn't leave a note or tell that to her himself.
Right?
And
avoidance.
Blake feels the same. She's irritated, and she throws the glass in her hand against the wall.
Rage.
Days pass and Riot is in jail and Blake is still in the dark. She tells us, quote, "I hate being ignored. It's my biggest pet peeve and what Matt would do the moment I asked a question he didn't want to answer." End quote.
And this is where I got so frustrated that he couldn't like just say to her himself, like, hey, I'm going to be incommunicado. Out of communicado? What does that word mean? I'm not going to be in communication. It's not personal.
Right.
I have to do this thing.
It's something I have to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not ignoring you. I'm not punishing you. I'll be back when I'm back.
Yeah.
I think even saying that would have helped a lot.
I think so too. But it, heightens the tension or whatever.
Yeah. He's in jail. I have enough tension.
Truly. So speaking of prison, we see Riot being taken to shower time away from his solitary confinement. And he knows that this is his opportunity to make his move and kill the dude that is his target. We switch back to Blake, and Riot has come home, but he's like really in bad shape. He's been beat the fuck up and he's exhausted. So he tries to take a shower but falls down, and so Blake has to go and help clean him up. Riot won't give Blake any answers and says that he just wants to go to bed, and so she helps him do that.
It's fine. The Lords won't give you medical care after you finished a mission? Okay.
I mean, like,
what's the point of being part of this society?
I understand the drama of him showing up like this, but like the tactics of him showing up there. Somebody had to pick your ass up from prison
and
they
drop
couldn't
you
like
off.
tend to your wounds on the way, like pick your ass up in an ambulance and then take her wherever. What? Come on.
That's what I'm saying. And like, that's fine. And again, I know I'm being nitpicky about it, but these are children. They're fully formed adults. They're 21, but like they're 21. They're seniors in college. That's it.
I mean, they're legal adults, but they're not fully formed adults. Their frontal cortexes are not fully formed yet. So in some senses, yes, they are still children.
Yes, thank you for that. I just wanted to clarify that we're talking a lot about sex. They're not children. They are consenting adults. But I just feel like you could get the guy a Band-Aid on the way back to his girlfriend's apartment.
Some painkillers, like something.
Some stitches, like
just like actively bleeding. Like
we're just gonna drop him off at home and be like, "Thanks for cleaning the mission, bro. Bye."
Yeah, your bonus check is in the mail or whatever.
Yeah.
So then we get a flashback to what happened in the shower, and we learn that Riot killed his target, but as soon as he got back to his cell, he's attacked himself. He knows that Matt must be behind this person who is sent, and so he kills this additional person with his bare hands. His bare hands. We'll talk about this when we get to editing, but I'll point it out now. This scene and later in this part is where I decided that I don't think I like the time jumps. I don't think it's necessary for dramatic effect, and I think it just makes kind of a confusing read. Yeah, I agree. And I like the book definitely errs on showing us everything, which I appreciate, like over the show versus tell thing. But I'm not sure that I needed to see the details of it. Like Riot could have just told us, oh yeah, I got beat up by the guy who like Matt sent to kill me in prison. Yeah. Cool. Or make it chronological. Like if you want to show me everything, show me him going back to his cell and then that happening. Don't like go home and then flash back. It's just weird. Right. Yeah, I agree. And so I meant to say that about Blake's flashback about the way they canoodled when they were in the mountains, because like that was couched as a dream, but it was also a memory. But I wasn't sure that it was a memory until we get confirmation of that, like toward the end of this part. Well, and then I was confused toward the end of this part as to, I had to I didn't go back and read it, but I had to go back in my mind palace as to if she actually saw who
had sex with her in the woods, I was like, was it Riot? Because then there's like weird questions later about stalking, and I got really freaked out. And I got
really freaked out too.
And I think that either do it or don't. But like, you made it confusing and made me second guess everything. But that's not even what I don't think you're even trying to introduce that question. But now you did, and now it was terrifying. And so then make it terrifying, because that brings back the high stakes.
Right, because you could have heavily insinuated that it wasn't clear that it was Riot. But we'll talk about it when we get there, because we're talking about something we know about and the listeners don't. So
exactly. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
We'll get there when we get there. So we come back to present day, and Riot wakes up and is feeling well enough in the middle of the night for he and Blake to canoodle. Blake is pissed, but Riot makes her feel good enough that she forgets.
This girl's pissed for the remainder of this part of the book.
Yeah, she remains just in an irate state.
I don't really blame her, though. He could provide some more communication.
I agree. And she says as much. And I'm proud of her for it. So the next morning, Riot tells Blake that they have a ceremony to attend at the Lord's house. When Blake asks what she has to do for it, all he says is that she needs to be his. Their conversation is interrupted by Blake's mom, of all people, who physically shows up to her apartment. Her mom asks why Riot is there and who is he and like, where's Matt? And Blake tells her, look, I told you this. I dumped Matt because he was sleeping with somebody else. Her mom says, well, the wedding is still on. And Blake's like, I'm literally not having this conversation with you, and tries to walk away. And for that, her mother slaps her across the face.
Jesus.
She then proceeds to call her an ungrateful bitch.
Her mom's the worst.
Yeah. At this point, Riot steps in and slams her mother against the wall by her throat and says that she will never touch Blake again, and Blake will not be answering any of her calls or texts. Then he tells her to get lost.
I really loved this, but I also had questions. Do we ever see her mom again?
We do.
Okay, cool. Because like we see her dad, and that comes out, and I'm just like, so what does that look like at home between the two of you?
Well, and yeah, I mean, it feels like Blake's home life is very non-existent, because like this dynamic that she has with her mom is like not very, it's not made very concrete. Like, her mom is the worst, but this like violence against her is the first time it's manifested. And even she says as much, like, I wasn't expecting her to slap me. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, like, that was crazy. And I don't know why she even cares as much. I mean, we kind of get those answers.
So when Blake's mom is gone, Riot checks in with Blake and tells her that he'll have the locks changed that day. He tells her, quote, you don't need her, Blake, not when you've got me.
I don't. Okay, it's later. I have a quote that Riot says that if you don't have it, I want to read it, but it comes later. I was speaking out of turn.
Okay. The next day, Blake checks in with Sarah and talks about how it's weird that she's not getting everybody's calls and texts, but they test it right there, and Sarah's calling her, and it works just fine. So she, again, chalks it up to shitty reception. Then Blake tells Sarah what happened with her mom, and Sarah is gleeful because apparently they both don't like her mom.
I mean, we saw some phone conversation early in the book between her and her mom, and Sarah being like, why do you even answer the phone? And
right.
I like Sarah's response of like, good, get lost.
She deserved it.
Yeah. Kick rocks.
Sarah then asks how she and Riot are, and Blake deflects by asking how Sarah and Gunnar are. And Sarah's like, girl, we're so fucking good. And this is why, like, I'm kind of disappointed there's not a Sarah and Gunnar book, because I feel like they are just having a great time. Like, no drama, great time.
I think their book would just be like nice and fluffy with like Gunnar. But I don't even think Gunnar really gets missions, because he's just the one that's always chilling at home with Sarah and watching Blake when Riot's gone. I would love to read their book. I think it'd be nice. It could be a little novella. I think you said this in part 1, but they seem more like a traditional like boyfriend girlfriend, and I would like to read that.
Totally. So in the middle of this conversation, Riot pulls Blakely aside and tells her that he'll be gone that night. She tries to ask why, but he doesn't give her an answer, and so she just starts to assume that it's another woman. Okay.
For why, Blakely? For what reason? And like, I mean, I don't really blame her. I get the trauma. Matt was cheating on her. Okay. And her reasoning makes sense, but it felt like it came out of left field for her to be like, obviously it's another woman. You know, he's in a secret society that sends him on missions. Why was that not your first thought? You know this. Or he's lying to you and he's going to show back up and have a fantasy rape scene, because he already did that to you twice now, I think. So like, No, it's another woman. Okay. All right.
It feels like, I'm trying to like orient myself where the fuck we are in this book, but it kind of feels like the Lord's missions aren't real to Blake yet.
Yeah,
like she's just like, oh yeah, your boys club, sure.
Which I don't really blame her for thinking that, because I don't think she's contacted or seen much of the murder yet.
Yeah. I mean, Raya just showed up like beaten, and like he seemed to recover pretty quickly. So like I feel like until she sees her first dead body, she's like, yeah, sure, whatever.
That's fair. That's a good point, because I'm just over here like, girl, why do you think this?
I know. So regardless, Raya can see there's something on her mind and asks what it is, but she doesn't say. And he assumes that it's about her mother and says that she shouldn't let her mother, like, you know, get to her. But Blake tells us internally, quote, of course he thinks it's related to her. My mother may be a bitch, but she's never made me think she was someone else. He's the joke, the liar, and I'm the dummy who never questioned it. But she doesn't correct him, and so they just say their goodbyes.
It's a realistic response, especially coming off of Matt. But this is another point where I'm like, okay. That's a miscommunication trope. And I don't really hate it in this book, except for the part that we're coming up to pretty soon.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, for us to get to the place where he like opens the door and like starts to be more honest with her, we had to have some of these like,
yeah,
very obvious like faux pas where like you could have just made this so much easier if you just opened your fucking mouth.
Exactly. And it does make it kind of come full circle later, and it's very satisfying.
Yeah. So we do follow Raya to whatever this mystery appointment is, and he's in an office in downtown Dallas with his lawyer. He is there with his father, and he recognizes the man who gave him the orders about Blake in the first place. It becomes pretty obvious that this man is Blake's father. Riot tells him that about the incident with Blake's mother, this dude's wife, and that makes Blake's father very mad. Riot is there to offer $500,000 for Blake. Blake's dad asks for what purpose, and Riot says that he wants to marry her. It comes to light that both the agreement with Matt and Blake and with Riot and Cindy are verbal agreements and not legally binding. We learn that Matt's family needs Blake's family to help save their legacy, not the other way around, and that Riot and Blake would actually be a much more powerful couple, but we don't get a lot of detail as to why. Riot says that he has no concerns about Blake accepting his hand and tells her father that all he has to do is sign it and he will wire the money to his account. He wants to marry Blake as soon as possible, and her father asks him if he loves her. Riot says, quote, I promise you, Mr. Anderson, Blake will be in good hands. I don't need to love her to promise her that I'll protect her, and that's more than Matt would do, end quote. Ultimately, Blake's father says he accepts, but he doesn't want any money from him. If Blake chooses Riot, then he accepts the deal.
I like his dad. I like this whole scene. I think they're part of this conversation. Because Blake's dad asks, like, how soon do you want to get married? And he says as soon as possible. And his dad asks, like, well, you're still in school. Like, maybe you should wait till graduation. Something to that effect. And Riot's response is, I will be the sole provider for our family. Blakely will depend on me for everything. And I will give the woman whatever the fuck she wants. I was like,
yeah,
ooh.
I love that too.
Ooh.
So I'll say that I love that, but I was also disappointed by the amount of money, because if this is like a fuck you rich romance, I wanted that number to be like $5 million.
Yeah. And I mean, I thought the money was going to be higher too. And so we do find out, I don't remember if it's before or after, it doesn't really matter, but that Matt offered $50,000. So I guess Matt's cheapskate, but I guess the jump from $50,000 to $500,000 is pretty big. But I agree, if they just have endless fuck you money, I thought that number would be higher. I did look up the carats of her ring though, because I needed to know what that looked like, and it looks like I would develop carpal tunnel hauling that fucking thing around.
Yeah, it's fucking huge, right?
It's like her whole knuckle.
But yeah, $500,000, same with $50,000, didn't feel like fuck you money enough.
No, it certainly didn't.
This is also where I wish that we got more information about why Riot is so prestigious, because his family has higher status, but like I just don't know why, and so it begins to feel a little bit empty. And this is another one of those places where the stakes started to deteriorate, because if you had told me, oh, Riot's dad is the attorney general of New York City or of New York State, like I would be like, oh, shit.
Yeah. But aside from seeing his dad, we have no idea who he is and why he holds any power.
And he comes off as kind of like this aloof, like very powerful guy at first. And then like, I mean, both these guys, we'll see at toward the end of this part, like they just turn into gummy bears. Like that's not super believable for me.
No. And even for Riot's dad to be present in this meeting, like he doesn't know why he's there. And he says 6 words. Like he doesn't care. Like he doesn't care about Cindy. He doesn't care about like, he's like, whatevs, do whatever you want, son.
Yeah, go for it. Do you.
Enjoy.
So when Riot gets back to Blake, he bends her over the counter and then proposes to her with a ginormous diamond. She somehow thinks in the context of this proposal that it's a joke. And either way, she's distracted by all of the sex happening. But she does say yes, technically, to the proposal.
Technically. It's a wild choice to propose in that way. And I would probably think it was a joke too, or like part of the role play. I wouldn't think it was a real proposal. Even with a diamond as a prop, I'd be like, okay, this is a game. We play games.
Right. And this diamond's got to be fake, right? Like, why would you?
And to be fair, yesterday I thought you were leaving to cheat on me. So like, I'm all sorts of confused.
Totally. So after this scene, Blake takes a nap. And when she wakes up sometime later, she realizes that she's missed class and she gets worked up. But Riot tells her that it doesn't matter anymore whether she attends class. But she's like, no, you don't understand. My mom's going to kill me. Riot continues to say that her mother doesn't matter anymore. And that's when Blake realizes that she's still wearing an engagement ring and that she's like legitimately engaged. But this is when she brings up, but you're seeing other women and like you're joking about this, right? And he says that he doesn't joke about things like that and he's not seeing other women and he's not like that. He tells her, quote, you were mine yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and you will continue to be mine forever, end quote. And so she says that she's not going anywhere either, and she accepts that she's actually engaged to Riot.
Which is, I mean, in the context of this book, I don't care, but it's wild. It's been like a week.
Maybe.
Maybe a couple because he was in jail for like a week and a half or whatever, but that time doesn't count.
I mean, we should say it's been okay, generously, maybe a month since they started doing the Chosen thing, and maybe before that they were in each other's orbit for like a month, right?
But
so
they didn't talk.
It is fast.
It's super fast, and I'm not mad about it. I'm here for it, but it's quick.
Yeah. Of all of the things in this book, this is the thing that I had the least problem with.
This is the part I don't remember if I texted you or I said it during part 1, but I realized in here that they haven't actually kissed yet. And I was like, Are they going to kiss at their wedding? Because I would love to see that. And then for a hot second, I didn't think I was going to get to see it. And I was mad.
Yeah, don't worry. You don't have to be mad.
No, and it's great.
So even though she's accepted that this was a real proposal and she technically said yes, they do talk about running and chasing. And so they make a bet that Riot has to catch Blake for her to officially accept being his fiance. So Riot's like, okay, go for it, and gives her a head start and leaves. So when he's gone, Blake calls her father to get the private jet daddy.
Daddy, can I use the jet right now?
Please, I just need it. He's like, yeah, I'll send it to you tomorrow. She's like, no.
I need it tonight. I just really need to go to the beach. Thanks.
Thanks so much. So then we see from Riot's perspective, Blake boarding her dad's private jet, and we learn that he's in control of this chase completely. Once Blake's on board, Riot follows her, and he's intercepted by a flight attendant who, like, doesn't ask a follow-up question. And so Riot's like, get her some champagne, which he then drugs, and then
front
go
of the
give
flight
her the
attendant.
drug. Right. And then go give the drug to champagne to Blake, which she does.
Why?
Oh my God.
Who is this woman?
But then I love this because once the flight attendant comes back to him, he's like, you're fired. Are you fucking kidding me?
I loved that because I was like, they play this drug game all the time. But I'm like, but a flight attendant who has no idea who these people are should not be delivering clearly roofied champagne just on some random child's orders.
I mean, even if you didn't want to get into a physical confrontation, just like go into the back room and like dump the champagne and like tell Blake about it so that you can get a plan together for this like random hijacker to get the fuck off of your plane.
Exactly. Right. So I love that he fires her and is like, no, goodbye.
That's not going to fly. So once that's done, he reroutes the flight to go somewhere where he says that Gunnar and Sarah are going to join them, but then I don't actually think that happens.
I don't think they're actually there either, and that confused me. And it also kind of bummed me out because when he says that, I thought we were going to get like a fun foursome adventure montage of them just like on vacay together somewhere, like this pre-honeymoon, but we don't get that.
Yeah. And I think it was a continuity error too, because it was like, oh yeah, they're going to meet us there. And then like, we don't actually see them very often in this place that they're going. And then in hindsight, like somebody just says, oh, it was just the two of us. I'm like, so they were never going to be there? I'm confused. Regardless, Riot then joins Blake in the back of the plane, and she starts to feel the effects of the drug. And then we get an unconscious scene after which he inserts a butt plug. Which I think, going back to your original comment in part 1 about realism, thank you.
Yes, thank you, because it takes some warming up. And I appreciate that is brought into this book, and it's still in a very sexy way, because it can be sexy. You can make it sexy.
And it's worth noting, I mean, we've gotten consent through all of the other scenes. We also get consent for this scene before Blake passes out.
Yes. Which is nice.
When Blake wakes up, they're someplace in the woods, and she realizes that she's got a butt plug in. And she's understandably trepidatious about that particular part. But Riot tells her that it will feel good, and she says that she trusts him, accepting to give him the last physical part of herself.
And I like all the metaphor of that, like the giving over all of those pieces. I like that.
I do too. And man, this scene is like really fucking intense. And it's intense for Blake too.
These scenes are all scorching.
Yeah, scorching fucking hot. Like,
yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So it's intense for the reader. It's also intense for Blake. And she describes how she can't like control the movements of her body or the flow of emotions. But again, one of the things that I like about this book is that Riot really does a good job of aftercare here and showing that he's not just interested in Blake as an object for him to use.
Yeah, because they get into like the degradation play often and all of those things. And I think it's after this scene that she has that like subspace come down where she's just sobbing and doesn't know why. Mm-hmm. And he does all of the aftercare perfectly.
Yeah, really, really well. So when she finally falls asleep, Riot's father calls him and reminds him that if Blake is going to be his wife, that she needs to be initiated as a wife of a lord. And he asks Riot if she's ready for that. But Riot is confident that she is up to the task. His father pushes him on whether he's certain that he wants Blake to be his wife rather than just a plaything, and Riot snaps that she will be his wife and no one else's. The conversation is over.
Mine or no one's.
Yes. So a couple days later, we fast forward, and Blake tells us that they're married. They went to the courthouse and sealed the deal.
This is when I was pissed. I was like, what? You're not going to show me the wedding? And I'm still okay. I feel some type of way that we didn't get like this high roller wedding in this world. Like I wanted to see all of that and they just eloped and that's fine. But like, you're all billionaires. I wanted to see that wedding.
Yeah. Well, and they make it seem like, oh, we wanted to get married now, but we'll still like maybe have a party with our friends. Like, where's the party with your friends?
Yeah. Where's like the princess moment?
Yeah.
And I have the note of literally this chapter is so weird. Like suddenly they're married. Is it a time jump? Oh yeah. Weird. Did they kiss at the wedding? Weird. And then yes, they did.
Yes. So they go back to Barrington College and there's some sort of party for the lords that, you know, the one that Riot mentioned earlier, and they have to get dressed up. During the party, Riot announces to everybody that they are married. Plot twist.
Surprise.
Matt is there, and it's clear that Riot gets a lot of satisfaction out of announcing it in front of him. Then he walks up to Blakely, and they have a first dance.
Is this supposed to be the wedding party? This scene is so weird. Like, she's in a white dress. It's like this whole thing, but I couldn't figure out the purpose of this party.
Well, I think this is the thing that he was talking about before. It's just some kind of thing that like ceremony that they have to do for the lords, but like there's no other information about what the fuck this party is for.
No, and there's no even real like ceremony. Like he makes the announcement and then we move into all the things that happen next. Like there's
right.
It's weird. It's like a scene is missing or a chapter's missing.
Or even just like one line of like, oh, this is our annual formal. Cool.
Yeah, this is our winter formal, guys.
Because we're in college.
Because we're in college and this is basically a fraternity.
Girl. So the party goes on, and later in the evening, Blake goes up to Riot's room to pee, and Matt is there. He says that he just wants to talk and ends up telling her that Riot offered to pay $500,000 to marry her and that he monitors her every move through her phone, blocking incoming calls and texts that he doesn't want her to receive. Blake feels completely betrayed. She says, quote, every single person sold me out, every goddamn one of them. No one was on my side. They never asked what I wanted.
Just fuck Sarah, I guess.
Yeah, I guess fuck that bitch. But I'm also like, I would be like, okay, besides the fact that $500,000 is low, let's assume that it's a fuck you money amount, right?
Yeah.
Why are you offended? Like offering to, because Matt freely admits that like he also offered money for her, like
way less money,
girl,
BT dubs.
Yeah, way less money. Like, I don't know. I feel like she has a bit of an outsized reaction to this. And I think it's because she just was still on the fence about how much she wanted to be in this world.
Yeah. And that makes sense to me. It does feel a little, her character development is a little confusing because she is a rich girl. Like she gets daddy's private jet. And so it's kind of, and she was already set up an arranged marriage. And so her reactions feel like she was not of this world, but she is though. And
yeah,
the offering the money is that not just a dowry. Like, yeah, we're in 2025. We don't do that anymore. But it's not like within this world, it's not abnormal. Like, at least they didn't offer a cow.
Right. Like, why do you think you were engaged, arranged marriage to Matt? Right. Like, it's because you guys are both rich and you got to keep the money together. Like, you are being bought and paid for.
Yeah. So her response was, it just felt too extreme for someone who did grow up in this world.
Yeah. Agreed.
You may not want to be there, but it shouldn't be new to you.
Yeah. But so in her reaction, she pulls the engagement ring off of her finger and decides to run away. We immediately switch back to Riot, and he gets a phone call from Blake from a blocked number. She tells him, quote, you know, I never expected you to love me, but I was dumb enough to think that you at least respected me. Riot tells her to come back so they can talk, but she refuses and says that she's already long gone. He promises to find her, but she tells him, quote, you can't find what you can't track, Riot.
Ooh. But is that not a come chase me Riot threat?
A little bit, right?
It is a little bit, right? And also like...
It's not that.
If you were really that mad and wanted to disappear, why call him at all? Like, you left the ring. I think that's a pretty clear signal. Also, it takes way too fucking long for Riot to check his own cameras and see that Matt talked to her.
Yeah. Well, and it's also like the believability thing starts to creep in a little bit, right? Because she doesn't go very far, actually.
She goes like, I don't know, a couple hours away, maybe.
Right. Like, if you're really trying to get away from these people, go to a different fucking country.
Yeah, because you can afford it.
Right.
Whatever.
But anyway, we next see Riot with his father and Blake's father and Prickett and Gunner, and they're all at a loss as to where Blake went. They've not found any sign of her, and it's been 2 days since she disappeared. They all realize that Matt did this intentionally because he realized that he didn't have a shot with Blake, so he wanted to ruin anybody else's chance with her as well.
They're already married, my guy.
But dude, like, there's nothing you can do.
No. Also, why do you care?
Okay, that's the thing. Like, why do you keep showing up? It's like you're just digging your hole deeper when you could just like roll over. You know, he doesn't realize that the biggest thing that he could do to piss in Riot's Cheerios is to say, you win.
Exactly. Take all the fun out of it.
Right. And then he's stuck with somebody that he was ostensibly only with because he wanted to piss you off.
Exactly. That's what he should have done.
So stupid.
So stupid.
So they go on to talk about how the biggest threat to Blake is basically people who want to hurt the Lords and Riot in particular, but they can't go to the press because that would alert everybody to the fact that she's already gone. Riot just vows to find her and then leaves the room. But this is where, like, I wish we would get just like a little bit more, even like a couple of line fixers of like why Riot is so important or who actually is targeting the Lords, because I feel like that would have tied some of the events that we get in this book together a lot.
Yeah.
More nicely.
Instead of this sort of wishy-washy, oh, people want to hurt us because we're powerful.
Okay.
But who? And why you? Why do they care about
Right.
you specifically?
Yeah, exactly. So we cut to Blake, who's daydreaming about her marriage. She's working in a hole-in-the-wall diner and spacing out, but tells us, quote, "Riot lives in my head and I hate it." She's changed the way she looks by dyeing her hair black and hopes that it will make her unrecognizable. And I think this is when we get the flashback to their wedding scene where they first kissed.
Yeah, and that is really nice. I did find it funny because I realized maybe in like the third sex scene that they hadn't kissed yet. But then they have the first kiss and we get both of their inner monologues saying like, yeah, we just never really thought about it. And I thought that was so weird. Like
Yeah.
Okay.
I also
you have
thought
a
that
lot
was
of
weird,
sex. And it's never come
It
up.
kind of makes sense for the type of sex that they have, but
That's
like,
true. They're not face to face very often, are they?
they're also not very lovey-dovey. So
No, that's true. They're not like cuddling or anything.
And it's
Good
not
point.
like it's not like he had like Riot in particular hasn't kissed parts of her. He just hasn't kissed her on the mouth.
Exactly. It's like a Pretty Woman thing.
Right. Exactly. But I did like seeing their first kiss because, to your point, like I was going to be very upset if we didn't get to see that.
Exactly. Because I know what we're here for. I know what the story is, but I still want them to fall in love. And I want them to kiss. Now kiss.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's here or later, but Riot talks about how like once he kissed her once, it was like he was insatiable, like he had to do it all the time.
Yeah, and I really loved that.
Yeah.
Because he's also a gummy bear. Deep down.
Totally.
He's just a murder bear.
It's a murder gummy bear. Murder Boy Scouts.
Yes.
So Blake seats a table of guys, and one of them hits on her pretty ferociously, but she's unflappable and just does her job. Then it's the end of her shift, and her boss, Janet, is reluctant to leave her alone, but Blake is like, no, it's okay, I got it. So as she's closing alone, she takes the trash out, but that guy from earlier is there, and it's clear that he knows exactly who she is and wants to cause her harm. Blake doesn't know if he's been sent by Riot or somebody else, but she knows that she's in danger, girl. So she runs back into the diner to try to get away, but he follows her. He tackles her to the ground and starts to choke her, but then he is bodily removed from her by her husband, Riot. And Excellent. Riot proceeds to slit the guy's throat and let the body fall to the ground.
Excellent.
Excellent. and this is the start of like cozy murder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I was here for it. The stakes are low, but I'm still having a great time.
Yep. So Riot then has Gunnar handcuff Blake, and he tells her, quote, "Till death do us part, Blake, and I'm not ready to kill you yet."
I don't know why, but that line's pretty hot. I know it shouldn't be. I know it shouldn't be.
Look, it's a dark romance, and it's called dark romance for a reason, okay?
This line in particular, but a lot of this book makes me think of all the TikToks that are like, okay, you read certain themes in smut because that's what's missing from your life, and it's like, no, not you, not talking about you.
They're not talking about you.
They're not talking about you. They're not talking about me.
I don't need this in my real life. Thank you so much.
I don't want to be kidnapped and have people just like murdered on top of me. Thank you.
No. So then Riot drugs her so she's more compliant to get her out of the diner and everything cleaned up. When she wakes up, she's back in the House of Lords and in Riot's bed with Riot nearby. She tells him that she wants a divorce, but he tells her that's never going to happen and that he will, quote, "fuck my wife whenever and however I want." As much as Blake wants to be detached from it all, she's super into that.
And this is what I meant, where like she's pissed for the remainder of this part, most of it. It doesn't stop them from getting it on all the fucking time. She's just mad about it. but she's into it. Being mad makes it better, I think.
I think so too. It's like hate fucking. But
yeah, but it's love secretly.
Yeah. Secret love. She's like mad that she's into it and like in love and like not mad about it.
And doesn't want to be. I'm mad that I'm not mad about it.
Yes. So before they can really explore how much they both like that, they have a meeting. They go down to the basement, and Riot's father and Blake's father are both there.
How long have they been sitting down there?
Just waiting for her to wake up? Okay.
In the basement? It's weird, man. Why are they always in the basement?
I don't know. There's not a better room. It's fine.
You live in mansions. It's whatever. A game room, perhaps?
Anything?
A foyer? I don't know. The basement.
So Blake's father tries to embrace Blake because he's been so worried because she's been gone, but she's indignant that he sold her. And she's like, don't fucking touch me. But he's like, honey, I didn't accept a penny from you, from anybody for you. And then they tell her that like Matt would have said anything to like make her leave because he was so pissed. And like it was her father that actually asked Riot to intervene so she wouldn't end up with Matt. And I'm just like, I don't actually know what my thought is about this because it's just so like, okay, you're splitting hairs at this point.
Yeah. Well, and also my whole thing is like, the only reason that Riot and Blake are together is because Blake's dad wanted to keep her away from Matt. Why not just void the verbal arranged marriage? Like you could just, you're the one with the power here, right? Like you could have just not forced her to marry Matt. I don't understand.
So we do get kind of a satisfactory answer to that at the end.
Okay, good. Because I know we've learned that Matt's family is the one that would benefit from Blake's family money. Like they don't get any benefit. So I'm glad we get an answer. Because I was like, bro.
Yeah, we get an answer, but the answer still feels a little bit surface level-y. Like I stand by I wish there was a little bit more of a complex component in terms of like this other faceless as powerful enemy. But in reality, like it is all still like interpersonal drama.
Okay. That makes sense.
But we'll talk about it when we get there.
All right.
So they then get right down to business and say that Blake needs to be initiated into the Lords as a wife. And it turns out because Riot is her husband, she will be the highest rank a lady can get in the Lords. And she's told that she'll get a text with a name, a location, and a time, and that will be her initiation. Blake is like, I'm not going to do that.
I would like a divorce, please.
Thank you so much. And Riot's like, can we have a minute alone, gentlemen? And when they're alone, he tells her, look, if you don't do this, then we can't be together, which means you will be killed. Period.
And that's it. So what do you want, girl?
Right. And she reiterates that, look, you don't seem to understand that I don't want to do this anymore. And I don't want to be with you. And I don't want to be your wife. Like, let me out. And he's like, honey, it doesn't really matter what you want.
It's too fucking late. You're trapped or you're dead.
Yep.
We're already married. And I'm not ready to kill you yet.
Legally binding.
Yep. Sorry.
So Riot then takes her to his house in the woods and tells her that they are home. She's so shaken up from the events of the last 24 hours or so and exhausted that they just end up going to bed. But there's like a tentative truce between them because she asks Riot to hold her as she falls asleep. And so it feels like she's kind of warming up to the idea.
There's something I want to point out here. It's pretty subtle, but this scene, when we get it from like Riot's perspective, he refers to this house, their bedroom. Like he says home, but he says my bed and my house. And then that switches later to our bed. And I liked that little subtle change.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I liked that.
It was nice. It was really nice. Like after the next series of big events, he refers to it as our bed. And I was like, oh, okay.
Oh,
like,
I love that.
There's other things that need editing, but some of the attention to detail is like very nice.
Okay, I see you. Mm-hmm. So Blake wakes up in the middle of the night and finds Riot in the living room drinking with a packet of papers in front of him. He tells her that when she was gone, it made him see just how out of his mind he was, that he's gone soft, specifically. He tells her, quote, I should be your biggest threat, but instead, I'm falling in love with you. He tells her that he no longer wants anything from her and slides the packet over to her and says it's their wedding gift, and then he leaves the house.
Oh.
When she opens the packet, Blake realizes that what's inside are divorce papers that he's already signed.
Here, happy wedding gift. Here are divorce papers. Oof.
I know. And this scene was so jarring to me because Blake is in the same spot. She's like, how the fuck did we get here? We were fine, right?
Like we're healing.
He was
right?
fine.
Yeah. I was mad, but I thought he still wanted to be in this, and now he already has signed divorce papers. Like,
that was fucking fast. What lawyer did you rob in the middle of the night to get that done?
Yeah.
So Blake realizes, quote, because I thought I was finally getting everything a girl wants, love and acceptance, end quote. That's why the things that Matt told her hurt her so much. But she realizes that actually Riot showed up for her in exactly the way that he said that he would and kept every single promise to her. Mm-hmm. So she ends up burning the papers of divorce in the fireplace. But she's soon joined / interrupted by a woman coming into their house in nothing but a trench coat. This woman is looking for Riot and insinuates that she's been coming there ever since Blake's been gone because Riot is a man with needs.
Ugh.
Yeah. And for saying those particular words out loud that are so obviously false, Blake slaps the fuck out of this woman and says, quote, I need a release. A bitch fight sounds like just the thing to help me out.
And I do I don't care how realistic it is. I like the full swing to where Blake knows from the get-go that Cindy's a liar. She's like, there's no way. Yeah. I know it's not true.
Yeah, I like that too. She finally gets out of her head about just reading into every little thing. And she's like, there's no fucking way.
Yeah, there's just no way. I'll take care of this myself.
So we jump forward a little bit and she's waiting for Riot on the couch, dressed in Cindy's trench coat.
I thought she was dead. I was like, oh, Cindy was her target. Initiation done. She dead. I'm wearing this dead girl's clothes.
I didn't think it was her initiation, but I definitely agree. I thought Cindy was fucking dead.
I was a little sad she wasn't, but the choice to wear her trench coat, I was like, that's metal as fuck.
Yeah, I had to walk past this and not look at it too hard so I could enjoy the metal as fuckness of it, because I'm like, Blake, you've never been in a fight in your entire fucking life. How did you overcome a grown woman?
I know. I don't know. I was wondering that. I still have questions about how she managed to win this fight. Cindy's not dead, to be clear, but she still won the fight.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, so however she did it, maybe she cheated. I don't know. This small, petite Blake woman overpowered Cindy, and I thought she straight up killed her, but she hasn't killed her
yet.
So, Riot's like, what the fuck are you still doing here? And she ignores the question completely. And she's like, look, I made you a drink.
Okay, so I have to interject here because she hands him a drink. And at least 3 times in this book, he has drugged her and then had his way with her through all the consent. And I was like, I kind of want her to drug him back and then dominate him. I know that's not their dynamic, but I would have been here for it.
I mean, I don't know if it's not their dynamic. I think that would have been beautiful.
You think he would have liked it though? I think he's too dominant.
I don't think he would have liked it.
No. I don't think he would have liked it. I would have liked it.
Yeah.
I think he would have. I think he would have respected it. I don't think he would have enjoyed it.
No, I don't think so either. They don't strike me as the type to have matching butt plugs.
No, they don't have matching butt plugs, unfortunately.
So Riot tells Blake to get her shit and go because that's what she wanted. But she says, well, actually, I want something different now. So then she baits him into revealing what she already knew to be true, which is that he would never cheat on her. He asks what all of this is about. And so she walks to the laundry room where she's kept Cindy. And she's bound and gagged. And she hands her over to Riot.
Here's my wedding gift to you.
Okay. And so Cindy tries to ask Riot for help, but he completely ignores her. Instead, he keeps telling Blake that he hasn't had an affair. He doesn't know what the fuck Cindy's doing there. And he tells Blake, quote, you're just going to believe her like you did with Matt? And she retorts, quote, well, Matt wasn't wrong. He
wasn't wrong. Everything he told her was the truth.
Yes. It was
everything.
Just not the whole truth.
Exactly. There were other parts to it, but like, he's totally watching your every move. Yes, he's blocking calls and texts. Yes, he offered $500,000 for you. All of those things are fact.
Yes.
So I did love this, like, it gave me big Mr. and Mrs. Smith vibes, if you've ever seen that movie. Like, this power, this, like, sexy power struggle. And kind of one-upping each other. I just liked it.
I did too. Like, just, and I liked this dynamic of her finally being like, because she says internally, quote, "I didn't throw those divorce papers in the fire for nothing. Riot wants a lady. I'll give him a motherfucking lady." Like, I love
give him
that.
a motherfucking lady. Yes. So good.
I was like, okay, girl, let's go.
Let's go. Meanwhile, Cindy is still just hogtied over here.
Yeah, she's in this conversation, but not for long, because Riot knocks her out by slamming her head into the wall, and then he bodily moves Blake into the bedroom where he shows her just how much he missed her.
I think this is the chapter where it says our bed instead of my bed, and I was like, yes.
Oh, I love it. I love that it was that immediate too.
Yeah, it's really nice.
So during this scene, he tells her, quote, "If another man ever touches you, I'll kill him, Blake. Painfully, slowly. It doesn't matter if you wanted him or not. And then I'll remind you that you belong to me."
Also, in this scene, she's trying to tell him something, but is distracted by the sexing. And I made the prediction correctly that she is off her birth control.
Yep. Super is.
Which, okay. For a minute, I was like, girl, why? You were gone for 4 days. But then I remembered that she never went home to get anything. So that made sense.
Yeah. Yeah. This went from zero to like family
breeding
planning really
kink.
fucking quick.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
So when they're done, they're interrupted by Riot's father and Blake's father showing up, and it's clear that they know about the divorce paper, and it seems like they're just checking in on whether she passed this test or not, because this was the first phase of her initiation.
And like, the timing of these dads, who are apparently just biffs now, and they just come as a pair to like every meeting, their timing is so wild. It's always like right after they finished having sex. And also, Cindy is still just like unconscious somewhere.
Yep, we get an answer to that really quick.
We do. But in the scene, I was like, is she just in the corner, like tied up while they're talking about this test?
Well, and did they know that they were done fucking before they showed up? Like, did they have a camera? Like,
listen, maybe they do.
Gross. But so anyway, like, Blake is frustrated because like she's not in the loop, and she asks them to get this testing thing over with so she can just be in on things. But Riot says that even when she completes her initiation, that's going to be it. That's the most interaction she'll have with the Lords, because anything more puts her in danger. But she's like, look, that's not the life that I want. That's not what I chose when I burned those papers. But Riot refuses to like budge, because he's like, this is my boundary. And when Blake looks to her father for support, he too says that he doesn't think it's a good idea for her to get more involved because it risks her life.
They just want to protect you.
Yeah. When the two dads leave, Blake asks Riot what the fuck happened to Cindy, and Riot tells her, don't worry about it. But Blake insists that she wants to be a part of this, if only to prove just how much she's in it with him. She tells him, quote, "Wouldn't you rather have a wife who knows who you are and chose to stay than one who pretends you're someone else?" So he's like, yeah,
I guess. That sounds kind of nice.
Gosh. So then he takes her out to a backyard bunker where he has Cindy tied to a chair.
Well, sure, because the basement is occupied by their dads.
Oh, yeah. So Blake sees this and she's a little bit shocked, but Riot reveals that when he went into the bag that Cindy had on her, he found basically a murder kit, and tells Blake that sleeping with Riot was her excuse to get into the house, but she was there to cause Blake harm.
Creepy.
Yeah. And so after hearing this, Blake is all in. And so she's like, all right, let's question her together. And eventually Cindy reveals that Matt told her where Riot was, and that's news to both Riot and Blake, because they don't know how Matt knows where this house is. It becomes pretty clear that Matt is stalking at least Blake, probably Riot too. It also comes out that Matt watched both Blake and Riot live out one of the fantasies, especially when they fucked in the woods that one time, and that he recorded it. And this is actually when I realized that that was a real thing, not just a dream.
Me too. And this is when I was like, oh God, for a second, I thought Matt actually raped her and it wasn't Riot in that scene.
I thought so too, because they go through this whole thing and I was initially confused. Like, Blake thought Riot initiated that scene, but it turns out Cindy initiated that scene for Matt. And I think it was Matt's original intention to rape Blake when Blake thought that it was Riot.
Yeah, but then Riot just happened to be there at the right time because the text that was like, come find me, wasn't actually sent from Riot. And this was a little like, it was kind of clunky in here because this is what I was saying earlier. Like, if you want to go that dark, lean into that. And I didn't go back and read the actual dream memory scene, but I think you see Riot's face at a certain point. Like, it's him. But this was just strange.
Yeah. And so I wasn't quite clear on the order of operations there, but I don't think the characters in the scene jumped to the conclusion of, like, was it Riot or was it Matt? It was just like the knowledge that Riot hadn't texted her.
Yeah. And then so the fear that, like, it could have been him.
Yeah.
It lost the plot a little bit here because it's like you're adding this layer of intrigue and fear because of Matt being a stalker, but you're not really leaning into it. And the way you're describing these things is confusing.
Yeah. Or maybe
also,
like you wanted there to be that ambiguity, but like backed out of it at the last minute.
Yeah, which I get, because that would be really dark. Like, I'm glad it didn't do that. I don't need that level of darkness. It was just strange. I think I mentioned this in part one, and I texted it to you, but I want to go back and call it out because I have 2 continuity errors throughout this whole sequence of scenes. So
yeah,
when they have their, like, reclamation of love sex after beating up Cindy, he cuffs her again. Handcuffs her, great. And then tells her, okay, get dressed when their dads show up. He never uncuffs her. So my mental image is she's just still handcuffed and gets dressed. But he does tell her to get dressed. So handcuffs came off at some point, tells her to get dressed. So she's wearing clothes now. And I point that out because later it's like it's like she was naked this whole time. And I don't understand why.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the scene, he says, like, oh, you need to wear something out of here. Here's my shirt. And I'm like, where are her own clothes that she put on when you told her to put them on? Why is she naked? I know why she's naked now. You do the things. But, like, she had clothes.
And did you just rip them off of her body so they're not useful now?
Yeah. I was just like, why? So in some respects, the attention to detail, like the my bed, our bed thing is really great. And other things, I'm like, okay, she's still handcuffed, but fine.
But fine. Where are her clothes? Come on now.
Why are they no longer here? Because I had to go back and read it. I was like, did she just come out here naked for some reason? He wouldn't let her do that.
Yeah, very strange. And honestly, like, I think when I was at this part of the book, I started paying less close attention to a lot of the words because I was like, man, I just got to get through this. Yeah. Like, not in a bad way, but like, it's a long book.
This is where I said in the first, like, half, like, this book doesn't feel like a chunker. Getting into this, like, 2/3 of the way, I'm like, okay, I get it. I'm still here for it, but it's a really long book.
Yeah. So Cindy goes on to admit that Matt told her that this was her last chance to be with Riot, specifically because she had to take Blake out. So after this information, Riot strangles her to death as Blake watches. Blake tells us, quote, I hate that I'm turned on right now. I should feel for her, but I don't. She knew that I was in her way of getting what she wanted, and she was going to do whatever it took to get him.
Okay. Blake is the perfect match for Riot. Okay, great.
I'm glad
you are. And now, but again, this is like the cozy murder because now the murder is real to her, but she is really not fazed.
Yeah. We went from, like, dark Hannibal Lecter type thriller to Mr. and Mrs. Smith really fast.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't hate it.
I don't hate it.
It's just a weird switch.
So Riot tries to tell Blake to go back to the house, but she insists on staying with him while he deals with this body. He's so turned on and impressed that they fuck on the table right next to Cindy's dead body.
Of course they do.
Of course they do.
It was a choice. Choices were made.
Not my favorite scene just because of the corpse right next to them, but okay.
Yeah, this scene didn't really do it for me because of the corpse. And like, Blake talks about seeing the corpse like mid-coitus, and I'm like, I don't need this. I don't need this.
I don't need this. Yeah. So afterward, they load Cindy's body into Riot's SUV and they drive to the church where Blake was initiated as his chosen. It turns out that the cemetery there is where Riot and others bury the bodies of the ones that they are ordered to kill, or kill by accident in this case. Blake asks how many bodies Riot's buried there, and he tells her 7 and adds that this is his first woman.
I was surprised it was only 7, this murder hobo up here.
I was a little bit surprised too, but he's really only been doing this for like 3.5 years. So
that's true. And I guess they build up to murder.
So when they go back to the church, other people are there. They meet up with Gunnar, and Riot tells Blake to go with him. Gunnar takes her into the main part of the church, and they sit in one of the pews. Other people are in the audience as well, and there's a woman up on the dais with a bag over her head wearing only a t-shirt and zip tied to a chair. When the bag is pulled off this woman's head, Blake realizes that it's Ashley, Matt's girlfriend. Riot enters the chat and starts interrogating Ashley.
Publicly, for everybody to see.
Publicly. Yeah. And we switched to Riot's perspective for some of this, and it's clear that he's putting on a show intentionally because he's learned that gets you pretty far with the Lords.
Yeah. Especially if you want to ostensibly break some of the Lord's rules. So he's like justifying what he's planning on doing by making sure everyone knows all the information.
Yeah. We find out that Ashley knew that Blake and Matt were together when she met Matt and decided to become his chosen. She says, quote, Blake was desperate, a fucking hungry bitch. She couldn't take a hint. You should know because she married the first guy she's ever fucked.
And Riot's like, fuck yeah, she did.
He's like, damn Skippy. After hearing that, Blake says she, quote, sits back in the pew, crosses her arms over her chest, and is ready to listen to whatever Riot is going to make Ashley confess. She's like, all right, bitch, you signed your own death warrant with that one.
Game on, bitch. Let's go.
Game on. So we go on to learn that Ashley was in on the plan with Cindy and helped concoct part of it, specifically the sedative part. We didn't mention during the part that we covered, but Cindy had a syringe with her that had, like, basically a sedative that she was planning to use on Blake. We also learned that Ashley followed Blake when she ran away and that she stayed and watched Blake for most of the time that she was working at the diner. At some point, she finally told Matt that she was finished and bored, and that's when Matt sent Derek, the dude that died, to look after Blake.
Look after
/ kill. Yeah, it's unclear.
For why? Okay.
Riot says that Ashley's been very helpful and informative, and for that, her prize is death, and then pushes her chair into the baptism pool. Riot tells us, quote, I thought it'd be poetic to kill her how Matt almost did when he was in that water with her for the vow ceremony. I should have never stood and stopped him. That was a lesson I learned the hard way.
Is Matt present for this? Is he also there?
No.
Okay.
No, Matt's been MIA since
Blake comes back.
Basically since he'd said those things to Blake that made her run away.
Okay, you're right. I remember that now.
So after this, Blake is understandably shell-shocked, and she doesn't say anything to Riot as they drive away from the church. But he doesn't take her home. Instead, he takes her to Tyson's club. He does this because he's not sure how safe his house is anymore, especially if Matt knows about it and has been watching them. Like, if you have fuck you money, just buy another house.
Yeah, or at least like go rent out something somewhere. You have fuck you money. Why are you staying at this dude's like weird apartment in his club? Where people know you go.
In a club?
I don't know. Does Tyson also live there? I don't know.
This just seems so weird and also a little bit predictable. I was like, this doesn't make any sense.
No, and if you're trying to hide out, again, why would you go somewhere that you frequent? You're not hiding out.
I know.
Leave the state or the country. I don't get it.
So when they get inside, Blake asks Riot if he believes in heaven or hell. He tells her no, he doesn't believe in life after death, but he goes on to say, quote, I can see you, touch you, and kiss you. I love you. You, Blake, are my heaven.
Oh! I love that he's a little gummy bear now. They're in love now.
So then they have sex and they confess their love for each other for the first time. Later, as they lie in bed, Blake tells Riot that she needs to get her things for school, but Riot's like, you don't need that. Like, I've been having someone stand in for you for class, and you don't actually need to attend it anymore. Like, you'll get the degree. You just don't have to do anything. Don't worry about it. And they get into a little bit of a fight over this because Blake's like, that's not the point. I want to go to school. Like, what the fuck?
Like, I enjoy this. I want to do this for myself.
Yeah. But during this fight, it comes out that the reason that Riot was able to find her was because the guy who Matt sent to kill her was one of the guys that hit on her and Sarah when they were in the club alone, who wouldn't take no for an answer. And Riot had killed 2 of his friends, but this guy, Derek, had gotten away, which is why he had a personal beef with Riot, which goes back to your point about subplots. Like, did we need this?
And I don't think so. And then also, just because we just talked about it, his kill count is 7. 4 of them were for Blake. So, like, 4 of them happened in the last, like, 2 weeks, my guy.
Yeah. Well, I think we've seen all 7 of them, because it's those 4. Yeah. It's the 2 guys in prison, and then it's the assignment guy that he had with Matt at the beginning of the book.
Yeah, which that makes sense. But
wait, it's more than that, because he killed 2. He killed 2 other guys during initiation too.
Yeah, you're right. He like beat one to death, and then there was the first initiation of the traitor.
Yeah.
He doesn't know his own kill count. That's a problem.
Well, it might have been a lie by omission, because she technically asked how many of your bodies are buried
how many are
back here.
Buried here. That's true. And I would imagine like the 2 in prison, you probably can't easily get their bodies here, so you can't bury all of them.
Yeah.
Tricky. But you're right. I don't think we need this. I didn't need editing. Would have been nice here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's going to be my overall feedback for this, is like a healthy dose of editing would go a long way.
Yeah.
So we fast forward a few days, and it's clear that both Riot and Blake are restless. But Riot doesn't want to leave the club because there's been no sign of Matt. He knows it's just a matter of time before Matt makes a move, but this feeling of limbo is driving them both crazy. Then they get notified that Blake's initiation will happen the next evening at the club. Blake is nervous, but Riot tells her that everything will be okay. They go to see Tyson, and Tyson says that everything is ready for Blake and that he's committed to helping her be successful. And so it's really like initiation with training wheels.
It totally is, because like you have protection here. But this scene with Tyson was the scene that I thought was going to go somewhere else. So we found out in the start of this book that there's rumors about Tyson having killed his own chosen, right? Mm-hmm. Accidentally or otherwise, I don't know. And so there's like this weird scene intentionally where like Tyson's supposed to be on the lookout for information on Matt, and so Riot asks about that, and Tyson goes, whatever, haven't heard from him, but it's pretty common knowledge that you killed Matt's chosen. And then it's from Blake's perspective, and she makes it a whole point to be like, have you ever felt the like energy change in a room, like everything went really still? And I thought that there was some trauma with Tyson on having his chosen killed by his own hand or otherwise, that he was going to like flip out on Riot in this moment of like, hey, you did this thing. Because it's just weird that Blake spends, it's like 2 pages of her being like, have you ever felt the energy change? Kind of implying that like Tyson's energy super changed. But then it just ends with him saying like, yep, I got you. I got your girl. No problem. I'm like, what a weird scene.
Oh, that is strange. I'm going to be honest. I skim read some of these scenes, so I didn't catch that.
That's totally fine. I really only caught it because I finished it today. But it just like, I really thought Tyson was about to lose it on like some unspoken rule of like, hey, I lost my chosen. Now I found out that you killed someone else's chosen. Like, this is a problem, and now we're going to have a problem. Just because of how much emphasis there is on the tension changing in the room. And then it just like moves on and they go about their lives.
It's just not a problem. I do wonder, because there's something that happens at the end where I wonder if this was just like a kind of ad hoc setup for that.
Okay.
But yeah, it is weird for to talk about that and like call it out specifically and then have it not go anywhere. I could definitely see Tyson having a problem with that concept, even if Ashley was like actively trying to hurt Blake. But yeah, it's just weird.
It's just weird. And I really want to read Tyson's book. I'm really curious about everything that would happen there.
I do too. Yeah. Because especially when Blake and Riot get back to their apartment in the club, which, like, why? Blake asks about Tyson because she's heard this rumor, but Riot tells her to not believe everything that she hears. He says that Tyson's chosen never cheated on Tyson, and Tyson didn't kill her. She was stalked and killed by her stalker. And so Riot's like, and so Blake's like, oh man, that's terrible. And Riot's like, don't worry, Tyson will get his revenge. So I think that's what his book is about. The revenge part specifically.
Yeah, and I'm here for that revenge part.
Me too. So before we end this part, we get a scene where Blake wakes up alone and her phone is ringing. It's Riot, and he tells her to come to the basement so they can have some fun. And when she gets there, they initiate a very short-lived chase. He then cuffs her, chains her to the floor in a kneeling position, and has his way with her. And holy Christ, is this scene scorching. My eyes are still on fire.
This scene is filthy.
Yeah, this is the scene that if you're going to put it in a bonus chapter at the end of a published book, that's what I want it to be.
Exactly. Don't give me these dumb bonus chapters of just like happy conversations as a family. I don't need that. Fluff. I stopped reading after this because this is how far we were recording to today. And I just had to put my phone down for a minute and be like, okay. Okay.
I just need to go touch grass or something. Like, holy crap.
Go touch grass. Go be in the sunshine.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Oh, this is probably one of the most intense scenes. And Riot intentionally makes it intense to get Blake out of her head about her initiation. Like, he knows that she's nervous and he wants to take away her choices and anxiety that's like bouncing around her head to give her peace and get her ready to be successful. Which, like, does he want to also do this? Yes, absolutely. But the fact that he's thinking about it in the terms of like, this is also for her, really sets up that dynamic of like, this is a consensual power dynamic that they're both engaging in.
Yeah. And then I'm going to do all these things that you will enjoy and will make you feel better and more prepared for all the things. Yeah. He gets them the praise. Like, it's such a nice power dynamic that they have.
It is. Yeah. But just don't read this in public.
No.
Everybody will be able to tell.
It's, whew.
Yeah. And on that note, that is where we're going to end part 2. So, yeah, that scene's in chapter 47, in case you want to reference it. Anyway, Jesus Christ. That is it. Those are our thoughts on part 2 of The Ritual by Shantel Tessier. Thank you, as always, for joining us on this journey. What did you think? You can let us know on the socials. You can find us on TikTok, YouTube, and Goodreads at Spice Readers Pod. And if you like our podcast and want more, you know you can join our Patreon, where we release our Patreon exclusive episodes on our off weeks. And if you really, really like us, drop us a review wherever you listen. Join us in 2 weeks for our stunning conclusion to The Ritual. Until next time, we'll see ya. Bye.
Bye.